Hey everyone, I am about to embark on my longest adventure yet. In 2 weeks I'll be in the UK running the 268 miles Summer Spine Race. This race is more or less self-sufficient with only 5 checkpoints to provide you with hot food and water and an opportunity to sleep. You have to carry a lot of gear. And most of the things you see on this table are actually mandatory equipment. Meaning if you get caught on the course during the race with any of these pieces missing, you will be penalized. Everything you see on this side of the table is actually my running kit. Obviously, it's not mandatory to carry it in your pack because I'll be wearing it. But you have some flexibility there depending on the weather conditions. However, everything else must be in your kit, in your pack at all times. I initially had the opportunity to test a new prototype 20-liter pack that Bryce at Ultraspire is working on. However, after trying some test packing, I realized that it may not be quite enough space. So I'm opting for the Epic XT 30-liter pack that's already available right now. And I paired that with a 2-liter hydration bladder as well as 2 semi-soft flasks, also Ultraspire, because they have the tendency to ride better on the side of the pack than the soft flask. Once the soft flasks collapse, there's a lot of loose space there and you'll have to readjust everything. So I'm opting for the semi-firm flasks here. The pack obviously also comes with the emergency whistle right here, which is mandatory, along with the ability to carry 3 liters of water. Also have to have maps of the actual paper maps of the actual trail, the Pennine Way Trail, which is where the race takes place. We're running basically 268 miles from just southeast of Manchester all the way into Scotland, traversing 4 national parks in the process. Pretty exciting stuff. It's about 30,000+ feet of gain. So while that may not sound so scary over 268 miles, the surface, the running surface in the UK is quite challenging, as I found out last year during my Bob Graham round. You also have to carry a compass. They're very specific about what type of compass. My compass using skills are fairly limited, and so I'm going to be paying very close attention to the course markings. You also have to carry a knife with a blade that's at least 3 centimeters long. That's about 2-ish inches, and I already checked this type of blade is allowed, so that'll be my knife. I usually use scissors for anything that requires taping of feet or anything like that, so this should be good enough. Safety goggles in case the weather turns really bad, so we all have to carry those. I am thinking this is probably a carryover from the winter spine race, but nonetheless it's mandatory kit, so I'm going to pack it. You have to have at least a 100 lumen headlamp or head torch, and I'm using this small Pezzle light because I'm actually relying on my Ultraspire lumen waist light. Very, very cool to show here. Bryce outdid himself. I had asked if there was a way to have some kind of mechanism to attach the waist light that usually clips into its own waist belt and have something that actually attaches to the waist belt of the pack. And I mean, this is just so cool. He actually made that happen, and this is one of the prototypes that I get to use during the race, and I'm super excited about that. So that right there is going to be a lifesaver. I don't have to mess around with any kind of extra belts or setups to try to figure out how to use the light. And this light is amazing at night. You know, the 3D lighting. You just see every bump, everything throws shadows. So the risk of tripping, especially when you're hallucinating in night 3 and night 4, should be limited by using a kind of light like that. You have to have warm winter gloves and at least 1 set of waterproof gloves as well. So I have a pair here that I bought in Chamonix during UTMB one of the years. They are waterproof, they're super light, super compact. And then I've got some Montane finger winter gloves that are using a down-like material to keep you warm. Waterproof pants along with a waterproof jacket. Again, this is something I picked up in Chamonix, and the jacket is a Gore-Tex jacket that I picked up a while back, again, as well to fulfill a lot of these mountain race requirements that absolutely require waterproofing with tape-sealed seams so that, the risk of hypothermia is reduced when there's, ongoing mountain rains. A winter hat, I've got this little OR, merino wool cap to keep my head warm. That's a requirement. At night, you have to wear a rear red blinky light. Again, security feature. You must have a pair of spare socks. I'm opting for the CP compression merino socks. I may throw in a pair of waterproof socks depending on the weather over the next 2 weeks. If it gets very wet, I may very well pack a pair of waterproof socks just in case. Okay, let's not jump ahead. Let's go to the base layers. Long pants, I've got some rabbit tights that I'm going to use as my base layer that I have to carry. And I have an old Tracksmith merino top, long sleeve top that I'm going to use as my base layer that is also required. In addition, you have to have a mid layer that could be fleece or down. And I'm using the Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer. This thing, you know, I try not to smell it too much. It's been all over the world in all kinds of conditions. I don't want to wash it. I'm sure I'll ruin it like I've ruined a lot of other kit by trying to wash it. So this one has been with me for probably 6 or 7 years now, including at Mount Everest when I did the Everest Trail Race. It's a very nice layer, and even when I used it at Tahoe 200 as well, it's just been a lifesaver. Whenever you slow down a lot during a race, it is nice to be able to put on an extra layer to keep you warm when you stopped moving fast enough to keep your core temperature warm enough. So this has always been working great for me. Phone is required. Obviously, you have to have it on. So, in an emergency, they can reach you in case the race has to be canceled due to severe weather conditions, or you have to call for help because of injury or another emergency. 1,500 calories are a requirement from the start of the race to be in your pack. And then I think checkpoints 4 and 5 or 3 and 4, you have to, again, have at least 1,500 calories with you. I'm opting for my favorite gels. In fact, this is more like a meal. This is the Oatmeal Fruit 300 from Spring Energy. This is delicious, and it has 300 calories per pouch. And then I've got the coffee gel, which obviously coffee, it has some caffeine in it, so that helps. And then my absolute favorite flavor is the Awesome Sauce from Spring Energy gels. And all of these gels, the smaller packs here, have between 180 and 210 calories each. So that right here easily fulfills the requirement of 1,500 calories. So I'm still missing a couple of pieces. So this is a trowel. It's called the Deuce #2. Trowel, I guess is what they call it. And you have to carry that along with tissue and about 3 poo bags is what they call them. So I think I may have to do a stop at REI to take care of that, to pick that up. Emergency blanket. This is required. It's part of your medical kit. Again, mandatory medical kit. And along with that, I have scissors, some disinfectant wipes, some blister pads, some stuff to a benzoin tincture in case I have to treat a blister. I put a couple of needles in here as well as a safety pin, and then I'm also packing some KT tape for emergency care, as well as my OVQ, which is similar to an EpiPen, but it's much more portable because I am allergic to insect stings, yellow jackets in particular. I don't expect that to be an issue in the UK, but I'm going to carry it anyway. And along those same lines, we are actually required to carry antihistamine pills as well as Imodium. So that's in here. And I'm bringing liberal amounts of both just in case, as well as Vivarin, which is a caffeine pill, which sometimes can be a lifesaver when you're in the witching hours struggling to stay awake on your feet. So, oh yeah, let's go back to this one. This is probably the heaviest piece of kit that I have to carry. It is mandatory. It's about, I want to say 450 grams, I couldn't tell you right now, which is about a pound, less than a pound. And it's a bivy. It's a waterproof bivy that is absolute mandatory. They will not allow emergency bivvies because they expect runners to use these along the trail to take a trail nap. And this will be key, and it's the basic kit you want to have if you go take a nap. I was originally thinking maybe I'll take a sleeping bag and a sleeping pad, or just a sleeping pad. I'm deciding against it right now. It'll be in my drop bag. We get one drop bag, 20 kilos, about 40 something pounds, that travels with us from checkpoint to checkpoint. So in there I'll have extra nutrition and backup kit, replacement kit in case anything breaks, anything gets wet, broken, whatever, or I want just a fresh set of clothes. But I'll try to keep that to a minimum. Again, just have an extra layer of everything that's here. Maybe an extra rain jacket, a long sleeve shirt, short sleeve shirt, that type of stuff. So that you can just change into that, along with a more extensive medical kit that will have leukotape in there in case I have to retape my ankle or anything else that I may need to take care of myself when I get the opportunity at a checkpoint. Yeah, so I believe those... Oh, wait, I forgot a couple of things. You have to have a cup. Now, normally I would just opt for one of those collapsible cups that they usually require at the races in Europe. However, this race requires you to carry a solid container. So this is an old titanium cup that I've had in my camping gear for many, many years. I'll probably try to shove some things in there before it goes in the pack just to use up all the space, but it's mandatory, so I'm packing it. I do not intend or plan to do any cooking on the trails. Apparently that's an option. I'm going to stick with running nutrition, and I'll probably pick up a bunch of British candy bars to drop into my drop bag and to have in my pack with me. In addition to that, obviously, I will be carrying a few different types of drink mixes, some Nuun electrolyte tabs, which I intend to use regularly, as well as I'm still trying to figure out which kind of drink mix I'll use to get some extra calories as well. Access to water will be limited. We're obviously running sections of 50, 60 plus miles at a time without aid, which means I'll probably still grab a water filter and another soft flask as a backup, so that if there is a river crossing and it is extremely hot, that I can fill up. I also would prefer not to have to add another, a total of 3 liters every time I start from a checkpoint. That's a lot of weight. That's more than 6 pounds each just in water and fluids. Okay, that's it. A buff is a requirement, easy enough. I'll carry those anyway. And then obviously I intend to document the whole journey with my GoPro here. I'll have an extra spare battery on me, and then I'll obviously have additional batteries in the pack. I picked up these little nifty guys right here. One is this is a travel charger that's like a key ring for my Coros Vertix 2 that I'll be using. And then this is a 5-in-1 travel charger, also a key ring that allows me to potentially charge my phone, charge a headlamp if necessary. I'll be carrying one of these little Goal Zero chargers on me, but I'll have a whole bag full of other chargers in the checkpoint, so I can always swap out. And in fact, if I needed to, I can leave one of my headlamps in the bag, let it charge, but I'm actually not intending to do that. I plan to just stash enough batteries either on me or on the drop bag, so I can always just freshen up as I come through. Trekking poles, come on. 270 miles, 280 miles, of course I'm going to use trekking poles. Even though, again, I think it's about over 30,000 feet of gain. Doesn't sound like much, but it sure is a lot when you're running that far. So trekking poles are going to be coming with me from the start. And these are my old black diamonds that I've been using for nearly 10 years. They still haven't broken. And I'm bringing a pair of Lecky poles just in case in my drop bag, in case I do break them, right? That's usually what happens when you say never happen. That's what will happen. Running kit. So this is my third Patagonia Houdini because I literally wear it out. I wash it or wear through it. So I've taped a couple of holes in this one now. I mean, this is my most favorite layer in the mountains. I've used it in light rain, in the cold, anytime you need an extra layer of protection without really wanting to be waterproof or getting too warm. This thing is key. It's the temperature range this little thing gives me is just insane. So it'll be in my pack. I don't care about that extra weight. This thing is always with me when I'm in the mountains. Again, extra pair of socks, sticking with the same kind, the CP compression socks that go just above the ankle. I'll probably be wearing some gaiters. Not sure what the terrain's going to be like. I have a good idea. It can be swampy, real swampy, and I mean chest deep mud in some cases. It depends on the time of year and the weather that we're dealing with, which is really unpredictable. It could be really dry right now. Some of the folks that have been out there recceing the course say that it's bone dry in most places. So keeping my fingers crossed that it stays that way, but there's no telling if that will actually be the case. So you got to be ready for anything. Shirt. Well, I'm known for the button-ups, and I'm going to stick with that. Nice rabbit shirt, I'll be wearing that. And then I have the Path Project shorts that I use with their separate base layer. And they've been working great for me. Obviously, base layer is one thing. This is the other lifesaver right here, Buddy Glide. Don't leave home without it, and certainly don't try to run 270 miles without it, let alone 280. Yeah, what else we got? Of course, the Ultra Olympus. I usually like to run with a lighter shoe or less shoe, a little bit less shoe. You know, I like the Timp, I like the Mont Blanc, but to be honest, with a heavy pack like that and a kind of an expedition style race, I feel that having that extra cushion underneath, especially with the technical terrain that you do get in England, more protection is probably better. So I'm starting with the Olympus. This is 4 actually. I also decided last week to permanently go up another half size after more than 10 years of running, because my left toes, they're always black while the right toes look like I don't even run. So clearly I have one foot that's bigger than the other. And rather than continue to deal with it, I decided to just size up and see if that helps. So I'm doing that. I'm packing an extra pair of Olympus 5s as well as a pair of Timp, just in case I need, you know, my feet need to wear it differently because I get hot spots. So speaking of hot spots, that's really my greatest fear for this race because of the terrain. It's very technical. It's a very long distance. It's a lot of weight on your back. There's going to be a lot of walking. So my feet are going to be wearing differently, right? Muscle, forget about the muscles, just the feet themselves. So I'll be doing some pre-taping. I'll be documenting it. I'll be trying to take it all in and enjoy it. And I intend to provide some other updates, obviously throughout the race. Obviously I will not be able to share that until after, and we'll see if I'll be able to share this before the race. Probably not. I'll probably be too busy doing things, but I did take a couple of videos while I was out there training. Full disclosure, training has not been going well. I mean, it's my own fault. When you try to run a 100-miler every month, and you do, except the DNF last month at Canyons, you can't really build, right? It's more of a peaks and valleys without the real build-up. So hopefully, you know, my goal is to go out there, have fun, and to finish. I do fully intend to finish, whatever it takes. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited. This is what it is. I'll show what it all looks like when it's inside the pack. Thanks for watching, and again, don't forget to subscribe if you do enjoy my videos. That really helps me out and lets me know people actually watch this stuff. So thanks very much.